We all know the winter solstice, right? It's the shortest day of the year. But what if it's more than just a date on the calendar? What if it's actually a profound lesson in resilience? A kind of cosmic blueprint that was understood by ancient builders and modern philosophers alike. Today, we're going to look at the solstice not just as an event, but as a really powerful idea.
You know, the story really starts with the word itself, solstitium. It's Latin, and it means the sun stands still. And for a brief, incredibly powerful moment, that's exactly what it does. Now, this isn't just some nice poetry. It's a real observable pause in the cosmos. It's the turning point, that exact moment where the sun finishes its long slide down and gets ready for its inevitable climb back to strength.
So around December 21st, we experience the physical reality of this moment. We get the longest night and the shortest day. The sun just kind of hangs there, at its absolute lowest, its weakest point in the sky. And symbolically, well, this is it. This is the peak of darkness. It literally cannot get any darker than this. And that simple astronomical fact, that is the foundation for everything we're about to explore.
Now, this whole powerful event wasn't lost on our ancestors. I mean, not by a long shot. For thousands of years, entire cultures have been built around observing this very moment, creating traditions that, still echo through time today. You're about to see just how universal this really is.
Look, this is absolutely not a coincidence. You can see the pattern just pop up all across history. In Egypt, they built massive temples just to capture this one specific ray of solstice light. The Romans celebrated Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. We see it in huge festivals like Saturnalia and Yule. Heck, even the date for the Nativity is positioned just after the solstice. Why? Because they all understood the same fundamental thing. This date wasn't random. It was a universal anchor point for celebrating the return of the light.
Okay, so how does this ancient universal theme find its way into the Masonic tradition? Well, the connection starts not with some lofty philosophy, but down in the mud and the stone, with the very real, practical lives of the people who built those ancient temples, the operative stonemasons.
And right here, this is the core idea. Think about it. If you're a physical stonemason, you just can't build in the dead of winter. The days are way too short, the mortar won't set right, your entire work life is governed by the light. But when that light pulled back, you didn't just stop working. The kind of work you did just changed. You planned. You prepared your tools. You squared your stone. You reflected. This very practical seasonal rhythm is the central metaphor for speculative masonry. There's a time for outer work, and there's a time for inner work.
And that practical reality, that seasonal rhythm, it leads us to the central philosophical lesson of the solstice. And man, it's a profound shift in thinking. It's a move away from just, simple optimism.
The light doesn't come back because we cross our fingers and wish for it. It comes back because it is governed by an unbreakable cosmic law. This is the critical shift. The ancients trusted this law, and the Mason respects it. See, this isn't about hope. It's about having deep confidence in a predictable universal order.
And once you really, truly accept that the light's return is a law of the universe, the next thought just follows so logically. Despair starts to look irrational. I mean, if the dawn is literally guaranteed by the very mechanics of the cosmos, what real ultimate room is there for despair?
You can think of it like a seed, just dormant in the frozen ground. It looks dead, but it's alive. Even at the light's absolute weakest point, on that longest night, the potential for its return is never ever gone. It simply cannot be extinguished. So if we know for a fact the light is coming back, what are we supposed to do while we wait? Well, the tradition doesn't suggest just sitting around passively. It actually prescribes something called the work of winter, a time for really intentional, personal reflection.
This brings us to a really crucial question for this season, one we can all ask ourselves. Before the world gets busy again, before the light of action and opportunity really comes back, what inner work has to be done?
And let's use that powerful Masonic metaphor again. We have to ask, what stones need to be prepared right now? What plans, what skills, what resources need to be readied in the quiet so that you're ready to build when the time is right.
And finally, we're asked to think about our connections. What obligations, to other people, to ourselves, what needs to be renewed before the demands of daylight come rushing back. This shows us that winter isn't a season of conquest, it's a season of alignment.
So when you put it all together, you see this beautiful, unbreakable cycle. First, darkness hits its absolute peak. Then, the light inevitably starts its return from that tiny hidden seed. That's our cue for the unseen inner work, preparing our foundations in the quiet. And then, finally,
the dawn arrives. And it doesn't happen in a sudden flash. It's slow, it's silent, and it is absolutely unstoppable.
And that leaves us with this final, powerful thought. It's such a profound lesson in perspective. We can all face seasons of darkness, right? In our own lives, in the world. But what the solstice teaches us is that while darkness can certainly dominate a season, it is never, ever in charge of the cycle. The return of the light is law.